I think the most important thing to finding a potential partner who is actually able to change with you, the easiest way to find him is to realize what a person that's asleep looks like how you can tell when a person is caught in a monotony and is asleep and what an awake person is like. Because if you can find out the difference between the person that's a walking zombie and is asleep all the time, and you can find the difference between the person that is awake most of the time, you're gonna have a way better opportunity of changing both of your lives, and both of your lives being improved for the better when that person is awake with you more often. And I mean, being with an awake person can help you not get caught in your monotony. They can help you not fall asleep so that you become a walking zombie, but they can't do it alone. You have to put in the effort, just like they need to put in the effort. So you can't change people that don't want to change, but you can change people who want change, and they can change themselves if they want to change bad enough too. But you have to have that will and determination to fight against the fear and to fight against the negativity that's coming into your head. And you need to be able to stand up and say, no, I'm not going to listen to you, because I'm telling you, once you start fighting the ego inside of you and start fighting those voices inside of you, and you start doing more for the betterment of yourself, it will eventually get to the point where it gets easier. It eventually gives up on some of the excuses. It'll keep trying to change and revamp and come up with a whole bunch of excuses, and it'll change the excuses and it'll use different excuses, but eventually it starts dropping some of the excuses. So the excuses get less and less and less, and once it becomes routine for you, your ego knows it's not going to be able to change it. In the book Outwitting the Devil, it talks about how the devil wants to get you caught into a subconscious rhythm. It talks about how that is his main weapon for everybody, is to get you caught in a subconscious rhythm. So they call it the rhythm of synchronicity, basically. So if you want synchronicity to work against you, you can have synchronicity work against you by falling for all the excuses. If you want synchronicity to work for you, you need to say no to the negative voices in your head, and then you need to press on forward and do what you know you need to do. Then you start creating a new habit. Once you start creating the new habit, then you're falling into a synchronicity, because now it's a habit for you to come home from work and to put 15 minutes into a project every day. And like I said, sometimes that 15 minutes will snowball, and you'll find that you did it all night instead of watching TV like you usually do. Some nights you'll only do it for 15 minutes and then you'll go watch TV, but more often than not, you're gonna find the longer you keep the process of doing it for 15 minutes every day, the longer you're gonna spend than 15 minutes every day doing it. Then you get into a routine where it's just habit and you do it every night without even thinking about it, and that's where your synchronicity comes in. That's where the synchronicity works for you, because now when it's a habit of doing it and you don't even think about doing it and you just start doing it, that's when good things start happening for you, because now you got synchronicity working for you instead of synchronicity working against you. And that's why that's the most dangerous thing for you, and the biggest weapon for the devil, is because if he can get you caught into a synchronicity of not doing, right? So if he can get you locked down into a synchronicity of you come home, play video games every night, or you come home and watch TV every night, if he can get you bogged down in that synchronicity, then that's how he can put you asleep and control you even more. That's how he can keep you from progressing in your life and keep you from doing the things that you want to do that are positive. And that's what it means by falling asleep and becoming a zombie, because being caught in the rhythm of synchronicity on the negative side, that's when you're a walking zombie. And all millionaires say that they use the law of synchronicity for themselves. They use it for the betterment of themselves. They use that law of synchronicity to work and push through the problems, knowing that eventually the problems are not going to be there. They're going to fall into synchronicity where things are just going to start being easy. They know that, and that's what they're working towards. So that's why they fight so hard. And even though your mind's telling you things aren't going to work out, and even though the the evidence is proving to you at the beginning that things aren't working out and that it's never going to change and that it's always just never going to work out, that's why they keep pushing past it anyways. And then that's how they become successful, because they just keep pushing and pushing and pushing until finally they hit their synchronicity stride and they just break through, and then everything just falls together and all becomes easy for them. So these are the struggles that we all face every day, and these are the only things that are keeping us held back. And in the end, it's our choice whether we let it hold us back or whether we fight through it and don't allow it to control our lives. So I hope this makes sense. I hope this explains to you how easy it can be to have your breakthrough. It's just all about changing your habits. Once you start getting better habits, and it only takes a little bit every day to get those better habits, but once you start getting those habits and they become programmed habits, that's where the possibility of being able to do anything comes in. That's why, like, the law of attraction says you can do anything you want. It's because you're trying to create those good habits, and once those good habits are created and they are permanent habits, that's when the law of attraction starts working its magic for you. And like I said, that law of attraction can work its magic against you too. All you have to do is let the excuses control you and let the excuses make your decision for you, and then you get caught in the synchronicity of negativity that the devil wants you caught in. Because the devil isn't really an actual person in my mind. It's not an actual being. It's just a program. And the reason I'm pretty sure that that's the way that the devil is, that's the reason I think that, is because if the devil was a thinking being like humans are, he would know to push you so far into the monotony, and then he would stop pushing you any deeper. He would know, like, hey, I got them caught, let's just keep them here in this comfortable spot, and he would know to just keep you in that part of monotony, but he always wants to make things worse for you. So that's why I'm pretty sure the ego is not the all-knowing, all-thinking being of the devil that we talk about, because the devil would be smart enough to know not to push you any further than what he pushes you, and to just be happy with how far he has you caught in his slings. But that's why I think it's an ego, because it always seems to push deeper and deeper and deeper, and eventually you will get to a point where you'll just snap and you'll make the decision, like, I'm tired of this, and eventually it literally forces you to wake up. A smart conscious being wouldn't keep pushing you when he knows already has you hook, line, and sinker. So that's why I'm pretty sure that what we call the devil is just the ego program, and it is just a program. Like I said, just keeps pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing, trying to get you deeper and deeper and deeper, like it thinks that it's going to benefit it, but then it eventually ends up hurting it, because now it pushed you so far, you're so sick and tired of everything, you wake up and you just are like, I'm going to quit. I'm going to quit all of it, right? Because you're so tired of it, and you just make the decision finally now, like, I'm going to quit, and then it loses all of its power because it pushed you too far. A smart conscious being would know when to stop pushing you, and it wouldn't continue pushing you. It would just leave you where you are, knowing it has its grips on you. But the ego doesn't do that. It just keeps pushing and pushing and pushing to the point where it ends up harming its own goals. It ends up harming itself because it pushes so much for so much control and so hard for so much control that eventually it entirely loses all control because it won't stop pushing. But the devil wouldn't do that. So that's why I'm pretty sure that the devil is just a program. It has the powers that it has because it's within all of us. It seems to me like our egos can talk to each other, because someone else's ego, like, they subconsciously know exactly how to attack you and how to perfectly harm you, even if they barely know you, right? Even if you don't tell people about those vulnerabilities, they still seem to know about those vulnerabilities. I think that's what gives the devil, like, what we talk about the devil, I think that's what makes it look like it's an actual all-knowing, all-powerful being, like what God is, what we would call an omnipotent being. That's why the devil seems omnipotent, because, I mean, God isn't a being either with a white beard sitting on a throne. That's how we envision him, because we're living in the 3D world, so we envision him in a 3D manner, but he's literally like just energy, and energy can't be seen, it can't be created nor destroyed. So there was just this energy at the beginning that everything's constantly created from, and it breaks itself and our planet into many different forms, and it continues breaking itself into many different forms, but eventually that form dissolves and eventually turns into what it came from, which is dust, right? And that's the material stuff that we're talking about. Like, there's all the non-material stuff that you can't see, like energy. Like electricity can't be seen until electricity decides to art. So electricity is basically invisible to us. It's an invisible force that we didn't know anything about until we started studying it. And we're learning more about electricity every day. And we're learning more about how electricity is created and how everything exists in this energy. We give the devil a human face. We give God a human face. That's not how they exist at all. That's why I think it makes complete sense that the devil's the program that God gave us for this humanly body, because it's a program that we needed to create contrast. It's a program that we needed to help us evolve into what we are today. Just like your subconscious programming of having your heartbeat and your digestion work. I mean, it's a program that's needed to live in this reality. And it makes complete sense that that program seems like an all-knowing entity. It seems like it's omnipotent because all of our egos are like connected to each other. That's how the program works. That's how the program can function. That's why people can know things about you without actually knowing you. They can know bad things about you and they can know good things about you without actually knowing you.